For the past 2 months, the tank mouse has been my daily driver. I did an unboxing video of this and did my first impressions. And although I liked it at the time, I was a little hesitant that this would be a viable everyday pointing device. But I'm convinced it is. And since I have been using it, I wanted to share some of my thoughts with you, what I like about it, what issues I've had, and how I think it can be improved to be better. The first thing you'll notice is it's not comfortable outside of the box. It's a product of its time, and the styling isn't ergonomic at all. What I found that if I low ride my hand, it feels better. It's actually pretty comfortable over long periods of time. And I noticed that initially I want to have my pointer and middle finger on each button. That was just a natural reaction. But if you kind of slide everything over to the right, it works a lot better. These are things that you'll have to work out and get comfortable with as you use the mouse more often. A quirk I found, though, is when I turn the mouse on initially, sometimes the scroll feature gets a little wonky, where I'll just lightly touch it and the whole screen will just go up and down. If I turn the mouse off and back on again, that resolves the problem, but I did find that if I just leave the mouse on, it has a sleep feature, so it's not an issue for draining batteries. That doesn't happen. This may be a firmware issue. It just maybe isn't connecting correctly when I turn it back on. It's not a deal breaker. Now I've just kind of got to the habit of leaving it on all the time on Bluetooth, and I have no issue with it. I did mention earlier that I was thinking about replacing the buttons to have red, because I use Lenovo's and you have the red trackpad on it, and I think the red buttons would match really well. When I do that, I want to put some more weight in here. The mouse construction feels solid. It feels like a really good finalized product, which is surprising for some Kickstarters. But I wish it was just slightly heavier. Now, by no means am I a mouse connoisseur, and I'm sure there are people out there that have keywords, tricky phrases for all these things and the ideal weight for a mouse, but I would just like it a little bit heavier. Not saying it feels cheap at all, but it just feels a little too light for me, and that's my very parochial explanation of where I think this needs to be weight-wise. Other than that, it's a solid mouse. It takes a little bit to get used to as far as where you're going to exactly put your hand and use the device, but once you get used to it, I think this can be a really good daily driver. I've been using this every day with my Lenovo and periodically with my Commodore 64. I just switch it over to USB because I have the USB dongle permanently plugged in to the Commodore, and I use it on Bluetooth with my Windows device. So it's really seamless. I just flip the switch on the bottom depending on what device I'm using this with. I don't want to seem like I'm gushing over it, but I really do enjoy this mouse. It looks great with my keyboard. It looks sleek in black. My only concern with the design of it, the upper coating reminds me of that rubberized coating you saw on early IBM ThinkPads, kind of like that rubberized material on it. Will this start to peel in 5 years? We don't know. That's something that we'll only know in time. I'm also a little hesitant if I'm working with rubbing alcohol or cleaning solutions in and around my desk. The desk that this camera is on, that's my primary workbench. So I use deoxit over here. I use rubbing alcohol over here. I use a lot of things. And I'm really cautious if I have anything on my hands and I touch this mouse because of this coating. So it will be interesting to see what happens in 2, 3, 5 years if this coating holds up, because there is a clear difference between the coating and the bottom plastic case. There is some sort of topping material on this, and just slightly hesitant that it might peel off over time. But that being said, I'm seriously considering buying another, maybe 2 more of these so I can have it for different devices, maybe have one dedicated solely for the Commodore. If you can and you're interested, I do recommend picking this up. I've talked to a couple other friends who have them and they enjoy them once you get over the learning curve of how exactly to hold it, get your hand in a really comfortable ergonomic, in air quotes, way that you can use this mouse and not really hurt yourself long term. I hope that made sense. I know it was a lot, and I can go on and on for this, because this is one of those rare modern products that I really like. I really genuinely do enjoy this. Not sponsored, not paid or anything about it, but I could go on for a long time about this mouse. I'll have links in the description below if you want to pick one up for yourself, and also check out my unboxing and first reaction video for this. I hope you enjoy this. If you like what we're doing here at Retro Tech or Die, like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.